What if everything you've been told about love is wrong? What if love is not a safe haven from pain, not a fulfillment of desires, but a journey of transformation? We wrap love in comforting illusions, believing in soulmates, in fairy tales that promise eternal happiness, while the truth festers unseen, bubbling beneath the surface like an infectious wound. Carl Jung, a pioneer in understanding the human soul, saw love not as possession or merging two halves into one, but as a sacred fire that challenges and purifies us. Love is about two complete individuals choosing each other while remaining rooted in their own truth. It thus forms a path of individuation where we confront our shadows and grow into our truest selves. Love is not about ownership. It is not about control or fear. Instead, true love honors each other's freedom. It invites rather than demands, and it never confines. Real love pushes you to expand, to unfurl your wings, to fly. The moment you choose to control, to confine, you suffocate the very essence of your bond. Imagine a moment when you say yes, all because you fear rejection. You think that you're being accepted, but deep down, you're withering. The cost of that lie is your soul, a price paid in silence, resentment, and anxiety. The moment you have the courage to say no, to carve out a boundary, you let the fresh air flood back into your lungs. Liberation becomes intoxicating. True love acknowledges the full spectrum of who someone is, including their shadow, their flaws, their imperfections. Accepting someone's shadow is not merely an obstacle, it is an invitation to grow together. It is about understanding that flaws are part of the person's journey, not a barrier to love. But what happens when you turn away from that truth? When you gloss over the darkness with glittering fantasies? You create distance. You build walls. You become two strangers lost in the hall of mirrors, endlessly projecting ideals upon each other. In that darkness, self-abandonment creeps in like an insidious fog, stealing your essence, leaving you hollow. And how do you reclaim yourself? By facing your own shames, your own shadows, your own truths. True love does not soothe your insecurities. It challenges them. It brings discomfort, igniting a fire within, urging you to evolve into your fullest self. Growth hurts, like a wound reopening, but every pang leads you deeper into understanding, deeper into intimacy. How often do we choose the easy route? How often do we dance around the flames to avoid the burn? But those very flames can forge a deeper connection, if only you are willing to face them. The moment you choose growth over stagnation, you choose freedom. Freedom to become. The seduction of projection clouds our vision. We fall in love with the fantasy, don't we? The mirage of who we think they are, rather than who they truly are. But true love cuts through that illusion, stripping away the masks, exposing raw flesh beneath. Do you see them? Really see them? The moment you peel back the layers of fantasy, you cross a threshold into authenticity. You move beyond the shimmering ideal and into the messy, beautiful reality of who they are. It is when you choose each other, not based on illusions, but on unfiltered truth, that love stops being a performance and starts becoming a partnership of souls. The idea that you are incomplete without the other is a poison, a tonic that leaves you chained, dependent. You complete me. Those words, soft yet destructive, lead to codependency, a love that clings rather than embraces. But true love arises when both partners are already whole. You didn't come to this world to be a piece of someone else's puzzle. You came to share your journey from a foundation of inner strength, not from a need to be completed. True love transcends the personal. It is a sacred union, connecting souls on a level that challenges both individuals to confront their inner selves. It awakens a sense of purpose deeper than the surface-level connection. It is a spiritual practice, presence, forgiveness, reverence. What you recognize is that love is a path, a sacred dance of the universe that requires you to stand still, to breathe, to welcome the silence. It is in that stillness that you discover your own rhythm. It always starts like this. She looks at you, not as you are, but as the figment of her imagination. You feel it in her gaze, that flicker of hope or perhaps hunger. You think you're being seen, but you're not. You're being measured, assessed, scanned like a blank canvas waiting for her to paint her masterpiece. But here's the bitter truth. The masterpiece isn't you. It never was. And Carl Jung warned you, not with the soft words of a motivational speaker, but with the sharp, surgical precision of a man who devoted his life to understanding the psychological abyss of the human soul. He discovered that women don't just fall in love with men, they fall in love with ideas, with fantasies, with projections. The scariest part? Most of them don't even realize they're doing it. You think she's choosing you, but what she's really choosing is a version of you. A psychological puppet molded to fit in her script. And when you stop fitting that script, she changes the actor, not the story. That's betrayal, the inevitable shadow that creeps in when you refuse to acknowledge your own truth. You're in that moment, a friend's call, a loved one's need, and the word yes slips from your lips, a soft surrender to the terror of rejection. The lie of emotional over-availability whispers that being constantly pleasing leads to connection, validation, acceptance. But it's a seductive trap, isn't it? What do you lose? Your boundaries, your essence, replaced by anxious approval-seeking. How do you reclaim your soul? By learning that connection begins when you respect yourself enough to say no, to carve out that space where your truth can breathe. Let's dig deeper. The belief that surrendering your boundaries for emotional security brings safety and comfort is a mirage, a fantasy that erodes your essence. The moment you abandon your truth for security, you dismantle your very foundation. Jung once said, "In seeking the dragon, you must also confront the shadows of your own mind." In that self-abandonment, you lose yourself, and the cost becomes a perpetual cycle of emptiness. The illusion of safety is lethal, a poison that drains your spirit, leaving you gasping for air. Then there's the cruel trick that by staying always available, you can control how others perceive you. You think you're wielding power, but in reality, you're relinquishing it. Each moment spent molding yourself to fit someone else's idea of you is a moment you lose yourself, inch by inch. True power comes from internal boundaries, not external validation, an irreversible revelation. Picture this, a ritual of severance, a moment of clarity where you stand tall, a warrior ready to cut the cords that bind you to the illusions of others, sacred, irreversible, and liberating. In that act, you find strength in silence. You don't need more healing. You need to stop lying about who you are. It is a moment of raw awakening, truth rushing in, filling the spaces once occupied by fear. And so, I leave you with this undeniable truth. You never lost control. You gave it away. But let's not forget the quiet beauty that arises from the chaos. The first time you say no and feel the weight of relief. A deep breath after cutting the emotional cord. Solid. The quiet of a morning, standing alone in your peace. This is your soul-level responsibility. Don't keep this to yourself. Pass it on to the person still handing away their power, to everyone but themselves. This is where the confrontation lies, raw and immediate. Love is not the fairy tale we've been told. It is a labyrinth of shadow, a path of individuation, and for those willing to walk it, there is no comfort given, only clarity. Walk the path, strip away illusions, stand in your truth. This is the real love, the kind that transforms you, demands of you, and guides you home to yourself. What if everything you believe about love is distorted? What if love is not merely the sweet embrace at the end of a long day, but a tempest that dismantles who you thought you were? Love should be a fire, illuminating the darkest corners of your soul, forcing you to confront all that you hide, all that is buried, all that you fear. We are raised on fantasies, love as the ultimate rescue, a mirror that reflects only what we want to see. But beneath that fantasy, lurking like a predator, are the shadows we ignore. Those shadows will claw their way to the surface if left unchecked, and the illusions we cling to will shatter like glass underfoot. What if I tell you that true love is not about escape from pain, but rather an invitation to walk through it? Every moment of discomfort is an opportunity to peel back the layers of your defenses and expose the raw, unfiltered self that you hide from the world. Do you see love as a refuge from the storm? Or do you recognize it as the storm itself? The clarion call to rise, to face the tempest, to surrender to growth. Embrace the chaos. Embrace the transformation. In that surrender, you will find your power, your essence, your truth. The modern conception of love feeds on comfort, on ease, on sugar-coated promises. But love, in its purest form, is brutal. It tears down the facades, breaks apart the delusions, and forces you to reconsider what it means to connect with another soul. It demands your authenticity, your willingness to be vulnerable. Are you truly ready to meet another being in their entirety? This includes their flaws, their fears, their shadows. Or do you romanticize the idea of love as a balm for your wounds? If love is merely a refuge from discomfort, how do you grow? How do you expand? How do you learn? True love is an alchemical process, a crucible designed for transformation. It takes you through the fires of your own psyche, where you confront the deepest aspects of yourself. Each trial you face, each moment of discomfort, is a catalyst for growth. The transformative power of love is not in its ability to soothe, but in its relentless demand for authenticity. So how do we break free from the comforting lies about love? How do we step out of the shadows of illusion? We begin by facing the truth of our emotional dependencies, our need for validation, our deep-seated fears of abandonment. We confront the seductive lie that pleasing others will lead to connection. As you navigate this terrain, understand that love is not a commodity to be exchanged, nor a prize to be won. It is a deep, profound choice. A choice to dance with another in the depths of vulnerability. A dance that requires not just connection, but the courage to stand alone, to embrace solitude, to ignite the spark within. Every moment spent molding yourself into someone else's fantasy is a moment you lose yourself. You become a character in someone else's story instead of authoring your own. The real tragedy lies in the refusal to confront your own shadows, to step into your own power. You may feel the fear of being alone creeping in, a whisper that you cannot survive without the approval of another. That fear is a lie, a trick woven deep into the fabric of our societal conditioning. The truth is that you can only find yourself in the depths of solitude, in the silence of your own mind, in the absence of that external validation. This is the work of individuation, a lifelong journey where you reclaim your truth, dismantle the illusions, and uncover the authenticity that has always resided within you. It is a path that demands courage, self-reflection, and an unwavering commitment to your own growth. As you confront the lies, you will face resistance. The voice telling you to conform will grow loud and frantic. "You need her," it will scream. "You are incomplete without her." But in confronting those fears, you will realize that your worth does not stem from another's approval. It originates from within, from embracing your entirety, flaws and all. Ultimately, the man who chooses himself becomes a beacon of authenticity. He cannot be seduced by fantasies or manipulated by the projections of others. Instead, he stands tall, grounded in his truth, unrecognizable to the world that demands conformity. When you reach that place, the air feels different. You become a living mirror, reflecting truths back at those around you. Some will turn away, unable to process the clarity you embody. But a select few will recognize the depth of your journey, and they will thank you for the awakening you've ignited within them. What if you stand in your truth, stripped of the masks? What if you embrace the rawness of who you are? You'll find that love, in its truest form, is not dependent on need. It is a choice, one made from a place of wholeness, from an understanding of your own essence, from a recognition that you don't need someone else to define you. The moment you stop performing for others, the moment you stop seeking external validation, you will begin to attract a different kind of connection. You will draw in partners who are ready to meet you in your truth, who are done with the games, who desire authenticity over performance. See her not as someone looking to complete you, but as an ally willing to walk beside you on your journey of self-discovery. In that meeting, there is no desperation, no clinging, no performance. Only two souls standing bravely in their truth, free and unencumbered by illusions. But let me warn you, most will never experience this. Most will settle for the performance, for the thrill of being seen as someone they are not, because facing who you truly are feels unbearable. Yet if you possess the courage, the gut-wrenching courage, to keep walking, to keep standing alone, stripping away every false layer you've built to earn approval, you will eventually find yourself standing at the edge of something terrifyingly beautiful. You will find yourself, and when you do, women will no longer be the source of your identity. They will no longer be the mirror you use to feel like a man. They will transform into something else entirely. Partners, not prizes, allies, not saviors. You will love them not because you need them, but because you choose to. From a place of strength, from a place of wholeness, from a place that knows without apology who you are. Carl Jung didn't leave you a map to follow. He left you a warning. A warning that every man who refuses to confront himself will become a slave to the projections of others, especially the projections of women. But he also left you a challenge, to walk the path of individuation, to stop blaming women for the roles you volunteer to play, to stop seeking wholeness in someone else's eyes, to stop waiting to be chosen, because it is the man who chooses himself, fully, unapologetically, relentlessly, who becomes a titan of authenticity. He cannot be controlled by fantasy, seduced by performance, or reduced to a character in someone else's script. He becomes the author of his own life, the architect of his own destiny. If you've made it this far, if you've felt this message cut through to the marrow of your being, do not scroll away. Do not let this be another thoughtless consumption of content. Take a moment right now to share this with another man who needs to hear the truth. This is not just for you. It is for the next man who still walks in the shadow of illusion, waiting to be set free. Help us spread this message. Help us awaken the world, one soul at a time. Love is often depicted as a fairy tale, a gentle embrace that shelters us from the storms of life. But the reality is starkly different. True love is not a distraction from our pain. It is the very crucible through which we confront it. It is a journey into the shadows, where the light of awareness illuminates the darkest corners of our psyche. Love demands that we face our wounds, our fears, our insecurities, and emerge transformed. The idea that love serves as a balm is an illusion. Love is not a drug that numbs us. It is a mirror that reflects the truth of our existence. It exposes our vulnerabilities, laying bare the fragile threads that bind us to one another. In that exposure, we have a choice: to flee into the comforting arms of denial, or to lean into the discomfort and grow. What if you dared to believe that pain could be a teacher? Each heartbreak, each moment of doubt, can lead you toward greater self-awareness. The moments when love tests you, when it challenges your beliefs, are not impediments. They are invitations to evolve. Every struggle is a stepping stone on the path to individuation, a way to reclaim your authentic self by stripping away the layers of societal conditioning. The masks we wear to fit in, those charming personas we craft to gain approval, become shackles that imprison us. We confuse acceptance with love, believing that if we perform well enough, we will be cherished. But that's the trap. Under the weight of that performance, we lose sight of who we truly are. The real tragedy lies not in being rejected, but in rejecting ourselves to gain the fleeting approval of others. What if the key to unlocking genuine love is not in seeking validation, but in cultivating a deep, abiding relationship with yourself? The moment you decide to show up for yourself, to honor your own needs, your desires, your boundaries. You begin to dismantle the internal barriers that keep you from experiencing true intimacy. Self-acceptance is the foundation upon which real love stands. When you embrace your imperfections, when you acknowledge your past, you step into a space where vulnerability becomes strength. It is in that vulnerability that you unlock the door to authentic connection. Only then can you meet another as they are, free from the projections of what you wish them to be. Love that transforms is a love that invites you to grow, to step into the unknown, to challenge the status quo of your existence. It is not about finding a partner who completes you, but rather finding a partner with whom you can explore the vast landscape of your shared human experience. It is a journey taken side by side, not as one entity, but as two whole individuals choosing to walk the path together. When you learn to cherish your own company, you cultivate a strength that resonates outward. You begin to attract those who mirror your journey, who appreciate the richness of your character rather than a fabricated version of you. The moment you stop seeking approval from the outside is the moment you give others the freedom to see you as you truly are. This journey is not without its challenges. The path of individuation is fraught with discomfort. It calls you to confront the very aspects of yourself that you may have buried deep, your fears, your anger, your sadness. But through that confrontation, you find liberation. You discover that you are not defined by your past, but by your ability to rise from it. What if you allowed yourself to feel the fullness of your emotions? Instead of suppressing the pain or masking it with distractions, what if you leaned into it? What if you let the tears flow freely, allowing the heaviness to transform into clarity? That is the alchemy of love, a painful yet beautiful process that reshapes you from within. You may find that the connections you once held dear begin to change. As you grow, some relationships may fade. People who are unable to meet you in your authenticity may fall away, and that is part of the process. It is a natural evolution. The friends who could only love you in your performance may no longer resonate with the person you are becoming. That loss can be painful, but it is also a blessing. Clearing of space for those who can love you without the masks. As you embark on this journey, be prepared for resistance. The voice inside may scream that you are unworthy, that you are not enough. It may tell you that you need to perform to be loved, and that truth is a bitter pill to swallow. But in facing those lies head-on, you pave the way for transformation. You will begin to see that self-worth is not contingent upon the approval of others, but is intrinsic to your very being. This realization is liberating. It grants you the power to love fully and deeply, not from a place of need, but from a place of abundance. When you are filled with self-love, you can extend that love outward without fear of losing yourself in the process. You can give and receive love with open hands, free from the shackles of expectation. Jung understood this intimately. He warned that to love fully requires an ongoing dance with the self, the process of individuation. It is a continuous journey of self-discovery, a commitment to uncovering the layers that mask the core of your being. As you walk this path, understand that love is a verb. It is action, not merely a feeling. It requires effort and intention. True love means choosing to engage with another in a way that promotes growth and authenticity. It is a conscious decision to connect deeply, to open the door to vulnerability, and to allow the other person to be seen in their entirety. When you learn to love in this profound way, you create a safe space for both yourself and your partner. You invite them to be their authentic selves without fear of judgment or rejection. You become a sanctuary for each other, a place where both can flourish in their individuality. As such, love transforms from a fantasy into a sanctuary, a sacred space where both individuals can thrive. It becomes a powerful catalyst for change, not just for you, but for everyone you touch. The ripples of your authenticity spread outward, inspiring others to confront their own shadows, to embrace their true selves. And in that space of authenticity, you discover that love does not demand perfection. It flourishes in imperfection. in the shared experience of navigating life's challenges together. It is a journey that invites you to be real, to be raw, and to be utterly human. What if you chose to step away from the myths that distort your understanding of love? What if you rejected the notion that love is about possession and instead embraced the idea that it is about sharing? Imagine the freedom found in knowing that love is not a state of being but a continuous evolution, a dance of souls that invites you to grow and change. As you step into this truth, you will likely confront the discomfort of loneliness. That fear of being alone can be paralyzing. But remember this: solitude is not the absence of love. It is the presence of self. In those quiet moments, when you are stripped of distractions and surrounded by silence, you will find the space to connect with your essence. You will learn that the relationship you cultivate with yourself sets the tone for every other connection in your life. It is in those moments of solitude that you tap into your strength, your creativity, and your capacity for love. So, welcome the discomfort. Let it wash over you, for it is in that discomfort that you will find your strength. It will teach you resilience, and it will reveal the essence of who you are meant to be. And as you continue on this path, keep an eye on the horizon. Be alert for those who resonate with your journey. They will appear as if by magic, drawn to the light of your authenticity. With them, you will learn to dance in the depths of true connection, an exchange that is equal, profound, and transformative. So let it be known: love is not a fairy tale, nor is it a refuge from pain. It is a relentless pursuit of truth, a journey that invites you to confront the shadows, embrace vulnerability, and celebrate the magnificent, messy beauty of being alive. As you step into this truth, the world will open before you, a canvas for your authentic existence. This is the beauty of love. This is the struggle, the challenge, and the profound reward of choosing to love deeply, fully, and without reservation. You are more than the roles you've played. You are the author of your own story, a story that deserves to be written in bold, unapologetic strokes. Now is the time to reclaim your narrative. It is time to write the story you long to live, a tale of love that honors your essence and the essence of those you choose to walk alongside. In doing so, you will find a love that is not just a connection, but a celebration of individuality and authenticity. Welcome to the journey of true love. Welcome to the path of individuation.